Hi, welcome to Business Tips with Michael Tobian. Today we're going to be talking about building a business website. Today's video is not going to be about too much search engine optimization or SEO kind of stuff. That we can do hundreds of videos on. It's very in-depth, but we do have a few basic videos about search engine optimization that you should check out. The best way to do that is to subscribe below and you'll be given updates on our new videos. Today what we're going to be talking about mostly is how to build a website and the general concepts that you want in your website so that you have the most effective marketing tool for you. In terms of how, we're going to talk about the different ways to go about it. You can use a website builder, you can build it yourself, you can have someone build it from scratch or hire someone to do it. We're going to talk about each of those. Okay, let's talk about website builders. They have these wonderful things nowadays called website builders where you can go on and they're templates. You don't need a whole lot of experience. You can customize the shapes and fields of everything. You can put in your own fonts and pictures and shapes and sizes. You start out with a template, and by the time you're done, even though you don't have a lot of experience building websites, you've created something that looks actually pretty unique, even though it's the same template that many other businesses may be using. It was such a pain when I was starting out. I had to use a software program to build my website, and then I had to publish each page separately through a sitemap kind of thing online. Well, these website builders make it super easy. If you want to go in and make changes, you can just go in, make the change, and you click publish, and it does it all for you. Where if I wanted to make changes, I had to go into my software file, make the change, and then republish that page, and it was just such a hassle. So I really like a lot of these website builders. Plus, they're way easier to deal with than these old software programs. And you don't need a lot of experience, like I said. These website builders are usually going to be the way to go if you're looking for something simple or if you want to do it yourself, you want to make a lot of changes. Okay? There are different kinds of, the different brands of website builders. And each one is geared a little bit toward a different industry or a different style website. Squarespace is a service that I like to use. For a lot of my businesses. I have a lot of businesses in the arts and entertainment space, and Squarespace tends to be do a good job for that. So let's talk about Squarespace for a minute. It kind of has a modern look. A lot of photographers and art type industries use Squarespace because it's really picture oriented. The pictures move around. It's easy to build the website in kind of a smart way. Okay. It has good gallery options, very customizable, and I'm used to it, so I'm used to the customization. Squarespace is good with SEO. It's SEO friendly or search engine optimization friendly. With a website, you want it constructed in a way that Google and these other search engines can really navigate it, and it's conducive to their guidelines. Okay, a lot of these website builders do a lot of that stuff for you, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Whereas if you build one from scratch, you're going to have to make sure you're constantly making sure that website is conducive to those guidelines, where the website builders, they already have a team of people constantly doing that for you. That's included in these plans. Okay? And Squarespace tends to be easy. So I like Squarespace, especially for my more artsy related stuff. Wix is another good service. Wix tends to be pretty good, I think, with a lot of user customization stuff. So, subscriptions, things like that. Charging customers and subscribers for content. I don't have as much experience with Wix, but I have used it, and a lot of people really like it. They also have tons of templates, different style templates, tech, artsy kind of stuff. So you can really have a lot to choose from there. I feel like Squarespace is a little limited in the scope of their templates. But once you pick a template, you can really customize it quite a bit. So it just depends on, you can experiment with both. I think both kind of have features, both have trials where you can easily get into a trial, try it out, and if you don't like it, you don't have to use it. WordPress is another popular one that people use. WordPress is kind of more of a platform that has a lot of templates that can be integrated into it. So, WordPress can be very robust. Big, very complex websites are built on WordPress. And I have found that WordPress is more complicated than some of these other website builders. So if that scares you, you might try one of the website builders. If you have a robust website, you might consider WordPress. anytime I do have a website. In fact, my most important website is built off of WordPress, and we did that because it's pretty robust, it's pretty deep, it's got a ton of content on it, and we felt when we were on Squarespace, and we ended up moving it to WordPress, and we had some reasons for doing it. But that's to a point where I hire somebody to do that, and I hired somebody to rebuild my website on WordPress. And there were pros and cons about that decision. Part of me wishes I would have stayed with Squarespace, and part of me likes some of the features that I have with WordPress. But it is more of a pain when I need to redo a website or make changes, in my opinion. Okay? There's a lot you can learn about it though, and honestly, I could learn a lot more about it to make my life a little easier with that. There's lots of others. You can research different website builders and website platforms and programs, and find one that you just feel like you're the most, it's the most comfortable for you. That's using a website builder. Another option is you can build a website yourself, and you can do it kind of from scratch. You can dive into the code. It's probably not advisable for you to do that unless you have a lot of experience with it. Or you really dive into learning about it. You can learn about something, or you can learn about this and still screw it up pretty bad. So if you're gonna have it built from scratch, I might recommend hiring somebody who really knows what they're doing, and you can have them build a really good, customized, good website, but hire an expert so that little things work. And especially with search engine optimization, there's a lot of things you can screw up to make your life hard when you're trying to get your website showing up on search engines. I would hire an expert if you're gonna go down this road. When you are hiring somebody to build your own website, there's a few cautions that I would give you. And I talked about some of these cautions in another video that dealt with starting up with your marketing, but we're gonna go over these again. So I would not probably pay somebody all the money up front to build your website unless you really trust that they're gonna get it done. I have had bad experiences with this, where I paid somebody, they seemed really professional, and they ended up getting it done, took 3 times, 4 times as long as it was supposed to. They complained the whole time. I needed to make revisions, and I know maybe I should charge you more for this revision. It's like, come on, man, I paid you good money for this, and I paid you all up front, which is what you wanted. I will usually just pay someone a deposit, and then I'll say, be glad to give you the rest once the work's done. And most freelancers that are okay with that. So if it's a lot of money, you could consider, and they have to have it up front, you could consider it putting in some kind of escrow account or something. But there's something about being motivated by not having gotten paid yet until the work is sufficient. And it's significant. I've waited so long for certain things. And sometimes people bail on you, and then, what are you gonna do? You gotta collect the money that you've already paid from them. I've run into that situation before too. So I would also get someone who's gonna follow through, personal recommendations from people. Maybe somebody says, I love the guy or lady who built my website. Well, that's a whole lot better than just trying to find random people online. If you can get somebody with experience, obviously, and somebody who's going to really commit. So people who do it for a living are good examples of this, because they're not gonna bail on you down the road, probably. I have had that. I had somebody build a website, and it was kind of this unique process, and he says, I really like doing it this way, but it wasn't the way that a lot of people do it. And then he says, I can't do this for you anymore because I'm being hired full-time by a company. And I had somebody else come in, and they were like, why did he do it this way? And I was just like, I don't know, he just said that was best. So if you're gonna hire a professional, maybe discuss with them, is this a common template? Is this a common way that people do it? If I have to have somebody else revise this down the road, is this gonna be something that they are gonna be able to deal with? So you can hire someone to build a website through a website builder also. So just because you're using Squarespace or Wix or one of these other sites doesn't mean it's not a good idea to hire somebody who is an expert in that particular website builder, and they can build you something really nice and really custom. Here are some important considerations when you're building your website. Visually appealing websites are huge in terms of marketing and capturing customers and keeping them on your website. Put some effort into the pictures that are on your website. Make sure there's enough pictures, and make sure they're good quality. Good enough resolution, and you don't want too high a resolution that's going to slow your website down, but good enough where it's going to look really stellar, okay? And those pictures are going to represent your brand really well. For a lot of industries, you don't want something that's super busy because it's kind of taxing on the eyes, and sometimes less is more, right? You do want a business that looks good on a desktop and also on a mobile phone. So when you're building it, check both. I've said, oh, this looks so great, and then I've published it and I forgot to check on my mobile, and I went, oh, this image is behind this other image and it looks absolutely ridiculous, okay? So you want it to look good on mobile and the desktop. A lot of these website builders they're really smart and interactive with mobile and everything, so they'll let you see the mobile version and the desktop version, so you can constantly be seeing what it looks like on both. And they're dynamic in terms of making changes to both at the same time. You want to make sure your website fits the style of the industry that you're in and the service that you provide. A high art or artsy oriented website, music, art, photography, things like that, they have a much different feel than a tech website or a financial advisor's website, right? So as you're looking for these templates or website builders or platforms, you want to make sure you're going with something that fits the vibe and energy of the business that you are and that you want to portray to your customers. So you got artsy websites, you got professional websites, perhaps I'm a business broker, I work with Alpine business brokers. Our website is very professional oriented because we want people to look at it and say, wow, look at, we have a lot of information on the businesses we've sold and the services we provide and the experience that we have. We want somebody to look at that website and say, wow, this gives me confidence that these guys really know what they're doing. Well, if it's artsy and fluffy, that's not gonna portray the right message to our clients. But I also have websites in the music and entertainment space. I don't want it to be too stuffy. I want it to be artsy. I want it to look fun and energetic. Okay, tech websites have a certain feel. A blog has a different feel. You want a blog to be really navigatable in a way that's going to make people click on the next blog post. Okay, portfolio type websites are a little bit more toward that artsy type of a feel. Some websites will have a lot of text on it and a lot of content for people to read, and some websites will have very minimal text. Okay, there are some search engine optimization considerations with how much text and what kind of text to put on your website, which of course we will talk about in a few other videos. So please subscribe to the channel and you'll be getting updates on these videos as they come out in regards to search engine optimization. Another consideration, you want a website that's going to be easily navigatable. So you don't want people trying to figure out, how to find the product or service that they're trying to find or the answers that they're trying to find, and they get frustrated. Have you ever been to a website where you just got extremely frustrated because you could not find what you were looking for? This is a bad experience. This user is having a negative experience with your company, and you don't want that. You want it to be easily navigatable with as few of clicks as possible to get to the answers they want. Another thing that you're going to want is a call to action with your website. Somehow, people are learning about your services. You want it to be easy for them to reach out to you or to order something or to book something, okay? So oftentimes you're going to want that right on that front page, that home page. Learn more. Buy now, contact us, some kind of call to action. Contact us today. Click here to learn more. Okay, these are called conversions. You want people to go to your website and be converted. You want them to push them to be able to do something from your website. Okay. Another consideration: you want your website to be SEO friendly, search engine optimization friendly. Like I mentioned before, we're going to jump into this in much more detail at another video, actually a series of videos about SEO. But some basic consideration, search engine optimization has to do with the content that's on your website, and then also there's external search engine optimization considerations. So the external ones are different considerations are different websites that are linking to yours, how your website is perceived out there in the marketplace and in the search engine space. The on-page search engine optimization has to do more with, you want these search engines to know clearly what your website is about, to know what kind of user experience your customers or people visiting your website are going to have. So you want to follow guidelines that these search engines want you to follow, and you want certain things to be very clear. You want to communicate to these search engines what kind of content is on your website. So when they are steering users toward the right website that they're searching for, they know clearly what yours is about, so they can steer it to yours. If you have a company that offers dog grooming and but your website isn't clear enough to the search engines that that's what you offer, and somebody's looking for dog grooming, they may want to steer your website to them because it'll be a great fit, but they might not be clear that that's what you offer, or that your website's actually answering their question, okay? So we will dive into this, but you can do some research on-page search engine optimization. Also, in regards to SEO, you just want good quality content on your website. A lot of times people do a lot of tricks with search engine optimizations. They're trying to trick the search engines and things like that. Those kind of strategies almost always fail down the road because these search engines are smart, okay? So the best thing that you can do to get your website up in the search engines and to keep it there is to have a really good quality website with great content on it. That's what Google and Bing and these other search engines really want, is they want a website with good quality content that's going to be a positive experience for the people that are viewing your website. There are lots of SEO considerations. One of them is that you want your website to be mobile friendly. Most of these website builders already do it, but you want pictures on the website to change depending on what the screen size is. So if you're on a desktop, you want it to be this big, and when you go to a mobile, your screen's like this, and you want the pictures to change. Otherwise, if your picture is a certain size on your mobile device, it's only going to show part of the picture. This was a big problem, and Google, a few years ago, really cracked down. They called it MobileGate, and they, if your website was not mobile friendly, then it really got dinged in those search engines. And a recent thing that's been important to Google is that your website has a security certificate, HTTPS, where the website, they know your website is secure and it's going to be a safe experience for your users. You're going to show up better in the search engines if you have that S certificate on the end of your website. We're going to dive into this SEO stuff much more later, okay? So make sure you subscribe below. Another consideration is a custom URL to your website. It's very unprofessional, in my opinion, to have a website called, your business name /free websites clickhere.com or something like that. There's a lot of website builders that are free, but they're free because they put advertisements on the website and in that URL. That might be fine if it's not a big deal to you. Maybe you have a smaller operation or your customers aren't going to care. Generally, for most businesses, you're going to want a custom URL that looks professional and doesn't have a bunch of I'm small time, I used a free website builder, and here's the advertisements all over it, okay? It just makes your business look small, and people may not take you as seriously. Let's chat about the important parts of a website. You're gonna want some About Us section or some kind of page that talks about your company, generally, okay? Perhaps the services you offer, but a lot of people have they put their staff on there, they put about how their company started, a little background that kind of gives people a relatable experience to your company. You're gonna have a home page, which is gonna be the first page, kind of a landing page that somebody goes to, and it's the first impression they have about your company, oftentimes, is that home page. So you're gonna want to figure out what you want in there that's gonna be clear, looks good, and communicates the most important thing you want to communicate, whether that's high quality or inexpensive products or whatever your business model says you want to communicate, okay? You're going to want a page or a series of pages that answers people's questions, okay? Sometimes that's a frequently asked questions page. Sometimes it's a page that is just more in depth about the services or products that you offer. You're probably going to want to link your website to social media. A lot of these website builders have little buttons already in there that you can link to it. Click here to go to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever. You usually want your social media and your website and all your materials to kind of link to each other so that people can navigate around your online marketing business experience that you have. Another consideration is that you want the navigating on your website to be clear and simple. Sometimes people have the navigation stuff on the top, about us, contact us, prices, whatever it is on top. Sometimes it's down the side, sometimes it's a combination of the two. You want it to look good, you want it to be easy for them to find things, and everything. I've got probably 20 websites, but the website that's a little bit more relevant to this is michaeltobian.net. Well, you'll look on there that I have stuff on the top, but I also have stuff you can click throughout the website, and I think it's a pretty good combination of the two where people can, they can see pictures that they can click on to find out more things, but at the top there's kind of the main things that they can search. You're gonna want some kind of contact us page and potentially some more specific call to action type page like book us or buy this product, okay? It's a page where someone can contact you if that's important to you. I would probably recommend not just listing your email address in text on the website that says, contact us here and then your email address. A lot of times people do this and they just get flooded with spam because there's bots that crawl websites and look for email addresses and they throw them in email lists. And you will probably find that you'll be getting more and more spam if you list your email address on the website. It's better to have a contact us form that people fill out, and then that form information is then sent to your email and you can reach out to them. That is most often what people have on their contact us part of their website. You may, if you're offering products or services that you want to sell right on the website, you may have some kind of shopping cart. There's external shopping cart apps. A lot of these website builders have them built in. You're going to need a merchant account probably for credit card processing. Some of these website builders already have a merchant account built in, so they make it really easy. Sometimes you may want to use an external program. There's different ways you can do that. Your website might need some customization if you have something very specific that you're offering. And sometimes these website builders offer integration, different customization. Sometimes websites are going to want a blog on their website where you can be putting more regular content on your website in some form of a blog. This helps with search engine optimization because search engines like websites that are continually added to, have a lot of content, and are dynamic and constantly updated. A blog helps with that. Finally, I mentioned this earlier, but you may want a frequently asked questions page so you're not having to spend a lot of time answering the same question through a phone call. They click here and the questions just that everyone always asks are answered. Those are some ideas for your website. All right, so in summary, we've talked about 3 different things: the importance of a website, how to go about making the website, and considerations that you should think about when putting together your website. A website is a marketing tool that kind of just does the work for you while you don't have to be there with the customer. They can go in and they can have their own experience, similar to if they were going to walk into a storefront. They get a big picture of the business. Well, that's what a website does for them in the online space. And if you have a really effective website, you can be making money without actually having to be right there with the customer, explaining and selling them on your product or service. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you'll consider subscribing below to get updates and new content, tips for running and starting and maintaining a successful business operation. Have a great day.